Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Box to Box on AFTV. I am your host, Marty. And before I introduce to you my absolutely awesome guest, please subscribe, please like, please let us know what you think of this episode in the comments, and please check out all of AFTV's other content. Please check out the AFTV app. It is absolutely phenomenal. Team Selector, all your favourite podcasts on there and all your favourite content. So without further ado, let me introduce to you an absolute legend in the game. This man's done it all. Talk Sport, Sky Sports, DR Sports, absolutely, Big Six, the lot. Huge Chelsea fan. Yes, it is the big one. Arsenal, or Chelsea versus Arsenal, live. 4:30 kickoff on Sunday. It's the big one. Separating at the top. Please let me introduce to you Matisse.
Thank you, brother.
How are you, my
pleasure.
man?
I'm very well. It's dawning upon me the magnitude of the match. Every day that goes by, every kind of show that I do, I'm just realizing the world is watching and they're waiting for us to hopefully do something, because if not us, who will?
Yeah.
At this point, you guys are in fine form. We've picked up some very nice form ourselves. I think this is the biggest game of the season. We were speaking about it off air. It feels like it's come at a good time. There's enough games played now where something's been built up, narratives have been formed. I think your Arsenal, Cities and Liverpool matches were maybe really early on. It was still kind of like teams feeling each other out, whereas now everyone's settled, and yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so Chelsea Football Club formed 10th of March 1905. Stamford Bridge, you have a capacity of 40,044. Your home of football and has been since time. Right, let's go straight into it. How are you guys doing at the moment?
Yeah, we're in form. Nine wins out of the last 11. Clean sheets as well in the last few games. Confidence is coming into the group.
Yeah.
Even defensively, I was very worried in the earlier part of the season. Red cards, we were going through crazy records in terms of discipline and individual errors and poor decision making. We seem to have ironed out a lot of that. I don't want to jinx it, I'm hoping I haven't, but we seem to be ironing out a lot of those issues, and we're getting back to some sort of defensive solidarity that we showed in the Club World Cup and at the latter part of last season, even with the centre-back selections that we have. A lot of rotation back there due to just having injury-prone players like Badiashile and Fofana, but at least some sort of base to build on, and we showed that against Barcelona, at home, even though 10 men for the second half. First half, we were on top as well. Attacking wise, we're scoring goals. I think we're actually second for clean sheets behind you guys. And goals wise, we're doing very well for ourselves in the Premier League as well. So we're in good form at both ends of the pitch, which is a little bit surprising to me, because I don't necessarily think from an individual standpoint, the quality is like staring you in the face at times. However, from a collective standpoint and pressing as a unit and putting in a shift and defensively positioning and structure, we just look more like a team and more balanced. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm quietly very confident, maybe loudly confident as the days go on, but I'm feeling very good going into the game.
So for me, there's I think 3 points with Chelsea that I picked up at the beginning of the season and through the season. Is one, I looked at your squad, and obviously the Club World Cup, which you went on and won after winning a European trophy again last season. Fair play to you guys. And I always kind of knew you were going to have a bit of a slow start, a bit of a hangover, as it were, from the Club World Cup. It's a lot of games of football, and then taking that into the Premier League. But then and I remember actually saying a statement, I thought that Chelsea would then come on strong later on, and everyone was saying, oh, you're mad, they'd be written off. And now you're kind of starting to see that consistency. Then you had obviously the discipline problem, like you said, and that seems to have been sorted out. And for me, you were a centre-back and a goalkeeper away from being probably, with us, one of the best teams in the league. But you're actually proving now, like your performance against Barcelona the other night, and I watched that entire game, and you pressed them, you dominated midfield, you were all over them. Cucurella had Yamal in his pocket throughout the entire game, and they play with each other in the Spanish team. So you would have thought that there could have been a bit of something happening down that side for him, but there was nothing. And Barcelona, if I'm honest with you, were made to look bang average by Chelsea. And that place, Stamford Bridge, was rocking. The atmosphere, when I talk about atmospheres in football, my hairs stand up because I love that. I really love that about football. And you guys were going for, you were baying for blood, and it could have been 5 or 6.
It could have been. There was a lot of goals being disallowed. Of course, they played the offside trap, that high line Hansi Flick, because it's been there for since he's been at Barca and really since he's been coaching Bayern Munich as well. And we always knew that we were going to have chances. I watched Barca highlights there against Club Brugge as well. Before the international break, they conceded 3 goals. Celta Vigo, I believe, conceded 2 again. There was always chips in the armour. It was whether or not we were going to be able to defend their attackers, the Yamals, the Lewandowskis, the Rafinhas. If he had started, Rashford was in good form. But we were fantastic, like you said. And I think Maresca gets it right in big games. That's the key for me. Tactically, he sets this team up really well. In the smaller games, we've dropped points at home. I even still can't stop thinking about the Brightons and the Sunderlands, where we really should have done better, and then we'd be closer to Arsenal in this league. Yeah. But big games, Liverpool, PSG, Barcelona, he really does set this team up very well, and he compacts that midfield. It's congested. So we're the youngest team in the league. There has to be energy, and we're showing it now. Because
Sunderland, you picked up on that. I remember watching that game, and you were kind of pressing at the end of the game, pressing Sunderland, and they got a breakaway and just done the damage to you. And to be honest, they were very good against us as well.
Yeah.
So both having dropped points against that team, a team that was probably written off that everyone said would go straight back down. So. They were a side that's literally signed 14 players. Let's talk about your signings on that note. So the signings that you bought in summer, you bought Delap in, amongst a few others. Garnacho. Talk to me about those players and how they've fitted into your side.
It's interesting because I think out of all of the signings, I think the excitement is there for Esteval Willian, because he's the one that's come in, 18 years old, new country, new culture, Brazilian national team over the international break, taking penalties for them over, the likes of Vini and Rodrigo, scoring an absolute insane finish against Barcelona, great dribbling, both feet, unpredictable, live wire. He's the one that everyone's gravitating to and gets off their seat for. I think Andre Santos is slowly bubbling under the water. We didn't sign him this summer, but he came back from the Strasbourg loan, and he's come in to kind of fill in when Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo need a rest. But I think he's just as good as able to challenge them, and that speaks volumes, because Enzo's having a big season in terms of contributing on the goal front. His performances have picked up as well recently, and Caicedo's just been classed the whole way. He was Player of the Year last year. Garnacho, Gittins, João Pedro, Delap. I wouldn't say that any of them are at a level that speaks to me as title-winning attackers. Okay. I think there's a lot more room to grow and to push on. João Pedro, house on fire in Club World Cup. Premier League started strong, fizzled out in terms of shots. A lot of 10-men games, so a lot of lack of support, lack of kind of attacking options to play with, especially at Old Trafford. He was isolated. He still had a really good game. So there's good performances within that, but then there's also performances where you're like, no, you need to do better. You need to take more shots. You need to get into the box. You need to be on the end of crosses. Delap, injured for a while, and then ill-disciplined, got red carded, got a goal against Barca. Hopefully the confidence comes back up. But again, NA, not really enough there to really judge. Gittins, loads of assists actually this season, and Garnacho is getting some goals. So they are contributing, they are starting to make inroads, I think, but at the same time, you can't say that it's title-winning left-wing level. It's we still need more. We need consistency. We need just more of everything. But they're slowly bedding in. They are bedding in.
The one thing I really noticed, which I think was a really good buy, is essentially what you bought Delap for.
Yeah.
That he's like a battering ram. You bring him on, he'll smash a few players, and then hopefully sticks the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. And that's exactly what he did the other night.
Yeah.
He got himself around the pitch, hassled a few defenders, made himself very known. I mean, he did that in a game before and he got sent off. It was a bit too over the top.
Yeah.
But I think, having that versatility, like you say, João Pedro and Esteval, you've got very different Garnacho, very different ilks of player that play in different ways. And it's finding at the right time in the game when you need that.
Yeah.
And against opposition like Arsenal, you're going to need that plethora and eclectic mix of player to break up the game and cause your opponent a different proposition.
Yeah, it's exactly what you have.
Yeah.
Obviously, in regards to Eze now a creative 10, which was lacking, I think, in that squad for a while. I see Odegaard as more of an 8. keeps the ball ticking, but you needed someone to be maybe more of a game breaker.
Yeah.
And you saw against Tottenham, I mean, this guy was ridiculous. You know, the finishing, could have had 4 or 5 goals himself solo-wise. Saka, very different winger to Madueke, very different winger to Trossard, very different winger to Martinelli. And then the striker options as well, they're obviously all injured, but Havertz, Gyökeres, completely different profiles. So I think in terms of options and in terms of numerically different kind of profiles, I think we probably share some similarities there. Obviously City, when you look at them, maybe there's not depth for Haaland and certain things like that. But yeah, it's interesting the way the squad building has gone. And I think that's purely just because of the amount of football that's being played, the amount of international tournaments, the Nations League, the breaks. Like, footballers these days, it's just so intense. So that you do need all these different profiles, you need all these different players. And your squad depth right now, is you can see it clearly, as clear as day. Seeing Mosquera start, Nketiah 1 week, Lewis Skelly comes in for Calafiori. You got Odegaard out. He hasn't even played, but then Eze's there. Madueke's coming on. Oh, maybe it might be Martinelli. It's just like, my goodness. It's just like, talk about a plethora of options. It's just like, yo, we can't. And this is with injuries. And I think it speaks volumes. You guys have not spoken about injuries, I don't think, as a fan base this season. You haven't had to. Yeah. But
we've got them.
But you have them, exactly.
Lots
if
of them
season's
as well.
gone past, we've got them as well. I try not to speak about Palmer or Cole because for me, probably in the same boat as you, I feel like our clubs, our directors, our operators have had a long enough stint now and enough money pumped in where it's like, we don't really want to make excuses. It's just get on with it. You know what I mean? Unless it's an absolute demolition of injuries where it's like 9, 10, okay, fair.
We had that last season.
Yeah.
And like you say, I think, and why buy players if they're going to sort of sit on the bench to come in? Why are you buying the players if they're not good enough to wear the shirt and do the job? Because I remember Arsenal for years, we'd in a transfer window, we might buy 5 players and 2 of them might be quality. But the other 3, the jury definitely out, and you know, chances are they weren't that good.
Yeah.
But now you like you say about that quality. Just quickly, before I go on to the next bit, what are your thoughts, honest thoughts on Madueke and Havertz? Obviously, ex-Chelsea boys.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts as a, you know, listen, I respect your ball knowledge entirely, and you know, I want to know what your opinion on these guys is.
Yeah, I think Madueke, we did a lot of the developing, I guess, because he came from PSV, and then we had to go through the trials, the tribulations, the penalty argument, Jackson, Palmer, all that kind of stuff, the kind of learning curve, so to speak, and then now you're getting what you'd like to think is the more, or closer to the finished article. I think, obviously he's been injured. I think he's predominantly much more threatening on the right. You saw it against Bayern Munich, switches flank, gets his goal.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit robotic on the left.
Okay.
He'll do a job, but I don't think he's not maximising himself. I don't think he's the kind of winger for me that I would want to see on the left as opposed to the right. On the right, 1v1, doing damage, cutting on his left foot, getting into the box. I just think he feels and looks more comfortable over there. Yeah. On the right, you know, you kind of, he drives, the thing is, he drives with the ball. He's always been very direct, incredible 1v1 dribbler. He's a different option in terms of he's going to stretch the game, he's going to cause opposition fullbacks hell. But in terms of the final product and the output, that's what he needs to do and improve on. Box crashing, cutting in and scoring like Saka. If he takes his game to that level, then Chelsea fans will be like, oh, damn, what have we missed? But at this current moment, I haven't seen anything from him that I didn't see at Chelsea where I'm like, he's taken it to another level. Yeah. But I think also that plays a part of the fact that he's not a starter for you. He's a rotation player. Yeah. So all you really need him for is those 20-minute, 30-minute bursts off the bench. And this is on top of having Dalman coming through, Wanyeri coming through. So it is very difficult, I think, on that right-hand side for him in the long term if he doesn't kick on immediately because there's other guys right there. So that's why we didn't really mind selling him to you, because we see it as Esteval Williams coming to replace him. Yeah. And I think his ceiling is just far, far higher. I think he's a ridiculous talent.
He looks mad. Yeah. He looks crazy. Way he took the ball past that Barcelona defence, just literally stuck to his feet, back in the net, finishes it.
I love a left-footed player that uses their right foot.
Yeah.
They're obviously unicorns when they're in their younger age groups and coming through the ranks because left-footers are rarer, right? But if they use that right foot, Saka, I remember near post strikes, just roofing it. That's what you want to see because the defender just doesn't know what to do now. And he did it against us in the Club World Cup. As for Havertz, I think it's a similar story. Like, again, he's always been a solid footballer in terms of you know you're going to get technical security. You know that he's going to drop in, link up. But I never felt like he was a title-winning leading striker. So unless he comes into this Arsenal team and displaces Gyökeres, and takes his shirt and says, no, I am the man. I am going to lead Arsenal. Again, it's more of a squad player. It's someone that you can bring on off the bench. It's someone that you can bring on and utilise in certain periods of the season. But is he going to go in and get you 20 goals? And is he going to go in and get you 20 assists? Or is he going to go, be the difference maker on a regular basis? At Chelsea, that's what we had a massive issue with. Champions League is fantastic. He obviously gets the goal in Porto. Knockout competition, big moment, quality. But over the course of Premier League season, we never challenged with these guys because they just weren't able to be the reliable, regular figures in the team. Squad players, they're perfect for it.
Cool. So for the viewers, lay out your Chelsea team and formation that you think that Maresca will go with on Sunday for this game, starting from your goalkeeper, moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's going to... Well, this is tough because Maresca's always got something up his sleeve for these big games. So you actually never really completely know what he's going to do. I wouldn't mind seeing a similar team to what we saw against Barcelona.
Okay.
Purely because I don't think any of our strikers are in form. Delap, João Pedro, Gu got a really good assist against Burnley, but I wouldn't dare start him against Arsenal in your centre-backs. So there's a case to be made that do any of our centre-backs trouble yours? Do any of our strikers trouble your centre-backs in regards to the quality that you have at centre-back? Or would we be better off going with a false nine or going with someone that's going to cause a bit more disturbance and drop and running behind, or just a little bit more of an unpredictable profile? I think goalkeeper Sanchez for sure. Right back, it will be between James and Gusto. Sometimes Gusto plays midfield, sometimes James plays midfield. He really kind of interchanges between the two. I think it depends on who you're starting at left wing, which because Trossard got injured the other night, we don't even know if it'll be Martinelli or it'll be Madueke.
I think it'll be Martinelli. I would imagine it'll be Martinelli just because he's got a good record against you guys. I would imagine.
So if it's Martinelli, I think Gusto's more likely to go right back because pace-wise and just that energy back and forth is quite similar. If it's Madueke, I think it's more likely to be James because Madueke, even though he's quick, he's strong as well and he's physical. So I think then, and he's better dribbler than Martinelli. So then I think James would be the better defender. So I think it's very much a guessing game as to which manager is going to, maybe give the hint on who's going to play in that position. Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella play left back. The centre backs, I would like to see Fofana start. Chalobah probably has to play next to him. He's been good recently. To be fair, Tosun was good last week. Badia Shields come back from injury. I'd probably say Fofana and Chalobah, to be fair. Caicedo, Enzo midfield. And I want to see... This is tough. There's a case to be made. So there's a case to be made for Esteval, Neto, Garnacho, because you can't drop Esteval after that game that he played against Barca.
I don't think.
And I think he's the most likely to get change out of any of your defenders.
I think so.
Like, we know Timber's ridiculously good in terms of that matchup versus Garnacho. I'd be very worried about that personally.
Getting much out of Timber. I think for me, he's an 8 every week.
I don't have much confidence on that in terms of the 1v1. I'm hoping maybe Timber, maybe concentration-wise, back post, Garnacho gets in the, but that box crashing. But in terms of 1v1, Garnacho's not a great dribbler. And Timber, for me, that should be bread and butter. Whereas Esteval, on the other side, I'm looking forward to that battle with Calafiori. Even though Calafiori's having a great season, obviously Lewis Skelly struggled a bit with Elise on the midweek, but it's a top 3 winger in the world for me, and it's someone that's barely played games, so it's probably a bit rough around the edges in terms of that. And then the centre backs will probably be maybe Hincapié and Saliba. Maybe he comes back in. So. And can we target Hincapié? I don't really feel like the North London derby. Yeah, he's good. But
solid.
The North London derby he didn't even have to move a muscle. Like, you guys were so dominant.
To be fair, he bullied Richarlison. Richarlison's a handful.
Yeah.
And I saw that back and forth. There was a lot of stuff off the ball. A lot of Hincapié giving that to him. Yeah. And, we all know what Richarlison's like. And he give it to him. Yeah. And he didn't care. And he's a tough guy. For me, Hincapié just looks like that guy you wouldn't want to meet in a dark alley in the night. Do you know what I mean? He's a rough, ready guy. He's physical. He's got the lot. So I haven't got any problems whatsoever with him being there.
Yeah, I don't know airily if Delap's going to put himself about, but I don't need someone to just put themselves about. I need quality. In a game of this magnitude, fine margins, I need quality. And I don't know if Delap, in his current level or state in where he's at with maybe even coming back, and I just don't know if he's going to give your centre-backs enough of a problem. João Pedro, he's going to float, he's going to drop deep. He could play this game. Maresca does tend to usually go with João Pedro in the big games. He played Bayern, he played Liverpool, I believe. He floats, he drops deep, he's an extra man in midfield, he helps us make it a quartet, keep the ball. But the counter press isn't strong enough. Is it worth pressing you? That's what Maresca has to decide. Both these teams midweek, counter press was on point. Us against Barca, you against Bayern. I watched both games. The press was perfect from both teams. The physicality of the Prem just kind of taking over those two top teams in Europe. But in terms of us, do we press you? We're at home, we have to win. But you guys are obviously with Zubimendi play out very well. So it's fascinating. That there's certain positions I can't call. Most of it, 80% of it, I know. But the Gusto James flip is dependent on what you do, I think, and it will change mid-game. If you play Martinelli and the manager was expecting Madueke, I think he'll just flip him and say, listen, they'll pass the paper around and say, yo, just swap. And up front, anybody's guess. Anybody's guess.
Okay, so look, take all the, social media stuff aside. What's your honest assessment of Arsenal? What do you think of Arsenal?
I think your attack has impressed me recently more than it did at the start of the season. I think at the start of the season, it was very much trying to find out how to get Gyökeres into this setup. You've been playing with false nines, you've been playing with midfielders up front for years now, even Jesus, Havertz, similar type profiles, whereas Gyökeres is the complete opposite. So you, from an attacking standpoint, I wasn't particularly impressed. Obviously, we know set pieces, you guys are incredibly dangerous. But in open play, in terms of what I was watching with Eze not quite being at it yet, and even Arteta sometimes having a handbrake on, he wasn't really playing the 10, maybe for Arsenal fans liking, he was playing maybe more reserved. But he has let the handbrake off, I think, recently. Maybe I thought I forgot all about the Newcastle game with Eze playing the 10. It was more even Tottenham, but now that he's got him in the 10, and maybe Odegaard's injuries forced his hand as well. That might help the situation for Arteta's thinking. The free flowing football's there. The last two games in particular, wow, serious levels in terms of the performances. Rice, I actually think this is his best position. Last season or prior seasons, I think he's played more as a left 8, and you've played with more of a 6. At West Ham, he played in a 2 in midfield, and he still can get forward, but it's a pivot and it's a clear 10. And I just think that triangle that you form there with Zubimendi, I think that makes sense for Rice, and it makes more sense for Arsenal. And defensively, I mean, yeah, you guys, you were setting records. You weren't conceding for a whole month. You were trying to look at our defensive record. I'm hoping that's now going to be intact. It's difficult, isn't it? It's not easy. 15 goals for a whole league. It's tough.
That's serious.
It's not easy. But obviously, yeah,
and you guys will be doing your best to dent into that.
Yeah, of course. Because it's like your Invincibles thing. Like, everybody's got their thing. You've got the Invincibles. We've got the 15 goals. City have got the Centurions. Everybody's got their thing that makes their title even more special. Yes. And you can't be touching that. What I mean?
Yeah. It's ours.
Yeah, it's ours.
I always look every season, if I'm honest with you, I always look for every team to lose a game.
Yeah.
So that stays intact.
Yeah. I've been impressed by Trossard recently as well.
Good, innit?
That left-hand side, that was the part of the team I was like, okay, they didn't get Rodrigo. Maybe that might be a weak point. Martinelli's not been great for a few years. Obviously, he's just coming back into it now. He's been good this season when he's coming off the bench and whatnot. Trossard's getting older. Maybe he'll start to drop off. Eze, is he really going to want to stay out there? Depends how Arteta uses him. But yeah, it's all right over there. So it's not bad for you lot right now. At the same time, I don't think I think you're reminding me a lot of us when we were defensively just stupidly good. And it's like the base that you're building on. Sometimes you watch Arsenal, you think they're not really like going crazy, but it's like they've got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not watching Arsenal sometimes, I'm thinking, oh, they've just from the very start just blown you away. Sometimes they just kind of just wait for things to kind of fall in place in terms of the game. Yeah, you can have a bit of the ball, that's fine. We're comfortable defending, and we'll just feel it out, and then we'll turn it up a notch. And then if you can't turn it up a notch, then good luck to you. And I'm like, I wonder if anybody else can get involved here. So look, I always say there doesn't have to be a race. I think sometimes people get very invested in, everything's going to fall apart and there's going to be a race. I think it's very much up to the chasing pack to make this a race, because Arsenal are clearly going to do what they're going to do from a consistency standpoint. I don't see this drop off. I don't see this, this up and down. I think there's been too many years of build up to this in terms of Arsenal, in terms of the depth now and the settled team and the experience. So don't look at Arsenal and be like, oh yeah, they're going to drop off. No, try and hit their level, match them, and then go the distance with them.
See where it goes. Go toe to toe with them. So on that note, what do you think of Mikel Arteta?
Boy, it was only 4 or 5 years ago I was calling him a mid-table manager after finishing 8th back-to-back, and I was living my life and loving it. Now...
a lot of people are eating some words with this now.
But I'm a rival, so I don't mind it,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I looked at him back then and I thought, I'm not sure about you. You're in your first job. Let's see. And then I remember that first season where you challenged where you were going for the league, and you were having that season where you were just, for me, that's still the best football I've seen you play. Even though you're playing brilliant football this season, I can't get that first 6 months of that first title charge out of my head in terms of the football level. You guys were just running away with it up until February. You were just, and that's probably my bias of just what, and that's weird as a Chelsea fan because I know what it's like to dominate off the ball, dominate defensively, dominate set pieces, be physical, be like grown-ass men performances. But then that side of me of seeing a team just smash teams 5-0. You went to West Ham, Declan Rice is smacking in long shots, and West Ham fans leaving after half an hour. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, this is the level of domination that just pips it slightly for me. If I had to pick,
stadiums out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well, but he hasn't got any majors. And until then, and it's not even me trying to take the mick.
Jury's out.
It is. It's not even.
I get
it's just you have a cap to how much we can praise you in regards to, like, I remember when Pochettino at Tottenham, he was brilliant. I mean, people forget Pochettino at Tottenham. Second place or Champions League finals, great defense, entertaining in terms of the attack, quick, energetic press. He had all of that going for him, but he didn't get the win. He didn't get the title. And because Arteta's only got that FA Cup and it's been so long since he's won, there is that cap onto, there's a level that you have to, until you win, you can't go into a certain group of managers. And I think he's just sitting on the precipice there. And I'm hoping he doesn't cross the line, but he's in a good position at the moment, yeah.
So, what's been your toughest game of the season so far?
Oh, wow, good question. Good question. I mean, our toughest game's probably been Bayern.
Okay.
Because Bayern, I mean, until you rocked up, they were on what was it, 100% record?
They hadn't lost a game.
Yeah.
They'd only drawn one game in every competition.
And I'm a big fan of Harry Kane. I think he's quality. Elise is one of my favourite players on the planet. And the way you guys locked up Harry Kane, I thought was damning.
Saliba bullied him.
Yeah.
And he was non-existent, which is surprising. Harry Kane's one of the best strikers in the world.
He's ridiculous.
And this Harry Kane as well is the best version of Harry Kane I think anyone's ever seen.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's literally just putting up stupid numbers, only matched by Haaland. But that was our hardest game at the Allianz, because we had a good half an hour, but then individual mistakes and just fine margins made the game just, we were poles apart in the end because it was Harry Kane and Elise. And that was all it needed to be. That level of quality in the attack just sent us home.
Okay, so how much is a Category A game at Stamford Bridge, ticket-wise?
For this game, well, we've actually got a new system.
Okay.
We've got Ticketmaster going on, and
okay,
it's weird because...
Explain that, please.
Do you know, bro, I don't know how to feel about it because it feels like for certain games you wouldn't be able to go to, like say Cardiff away, you could actually get a ticket now.
Okay.
As a member, I'm a member, I'm not a season ticket holder, and I don't go to loads of games. I actually prefer to go to the away games. Last season I went to Kazakhstan over a Cat A game. and you'd ask me like, why would you want to go to a Kazakhstan away over a Cat A? But I just wanted to go traveling, and I was basically getting the football mixed in and then getting the cultures, experiences and whatnot. So I love the Conference League for the traveling. But in terms of Chelsea, Ticketmaster, it's just you're basically, it's a lottery at this point. Like,
so you go on to Ticketmaster and purchase tickets as you normally would.
Obviously, the season ticket holders are going to get that extra, benefit of they're going to be first in line. But it feels like members can get involved and get a ticket now. But at some point, sometimes it's just overwhelmed with bots and crowds earlier in the season, so you just couldn't get in.
So how much are they?
Bro, you're talking for this game, boy, I haven't even looked at the prices myself. You're looking at probably 100 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So season ticket. How much does season ticket at Stamford Bridge?
Thousands. I've not looked.
You haven't looked?
No, I've not looked. I'm nowhere near it on points wise.
Okay, so
I can't even entertain it.
Let's go into the game. I want score prediction from you.
Score prediction. Score prediction. 2-1 Chelsea.
Wow, back in your team. I like that.
I have to because we have to win this game. If we don't win this game, our situation is 9 points behind you, and we're not going to surpass. I don't think we're going to bridge that gap over Christmas. We don't tend to do well on Christmas. We need to keep within a striking distance, I think, with you guys.
I think I was going to go for 2-0, but I hate to say it, I do think you got a goal in you against us, just because I know you're going to be dead set on breaking that 15 goal a season record. And listen, you can hurt teams. You're dangerous up front. So I'm going to go for 2-1, but to us.
Yeah.
You've been an absolute superstar.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Good show.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. So hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Please check out Matisse on all of his channels. Please check out all of AFTV's other content. Please check out the AFTV app. And please check out the AFTV merch in the AFTV store. I've been Marty. He's been Matisse. This has been Box to Box. Hope you've enjoyed it. Chelsea versus Arsenal, Super Sunday. It's the big one. Can we go 9 points clear of Chelsea? Stay tuned. We think we've got a big watch along at Box Park as well. It's going to be awesome. There's plenty more AFTV content coming out. We've got you covered. Stay tuned. I've been Marty. Take care. Signing out.